In a world where everyone is talking, the quiet ones are watching. They're listening, observing, and calculating. While others speak just to be heard, the silent ones grow wiser. Seneca once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak." If you've ever walked away from a conversation wishing you had said less, this video is for you. Before we dive in, if you're on a journey to master your emotions, your mind, and your peace, subscribe and join this channel. Let's build a Stoic mindset together. Number 1. Silence is a sign of strength, not weakness. People often think silence means you're shy, nervous, or uncertain. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Silence is strength. It shows discipline, control, and confidence. When you can hold back words even when emotions are burning inside you, you prove that your mind, not your feelings, is in charge. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of wisdom. Most people talk to fill the silence. They fear it because it forces them to confront their own thoughts. But the Stoic sees silence as a weapon. When you choose not to speak, you make others reveal themselves. You learn what they value, what they fear, and how they think, all without saying a word. That's real power. And let's be honest, talking too much can get you in trouble. Think about the last time someone overshared or said something they regretted. The person who can stay quiet in those moments, they walk away with their dignity intact. They look calm, mysterious, and in control. Funny enough, being silent also makes people think you're smarter. You could be silently thinking about pizza, but they'll assume you're analyzing life's deepest truths. That's the beauty of silence. It leaves room for interpretation. Number 2, speaking less helps you listen more. When you stop talking so much, something amazing happens. You actually start listening. Most people listen just to reply. They don't hear, they just wait for their turn to speak. But when you stay quiet, you begin to truly understand people. You notice tone, hesitation, emotion, and intention. This gives you an advantage in every area of life: relationships, business, and even self-awareness. Listening is what separates wise people from impulsive ones. Seneca once wrote, "It is better to be silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt." When you speak less, you don't just learn more about others, you learn more about yourself. You start noticing your triggers, your ego, and the urge to prove something. You also realize that most conversations aren't about truth, they're about ego battles. People argue to win, not to understand. When you choose silence, you're saying, "I don't need to win this." And ironically, that's how you actually win. Besides, when you stay quiet long enough, people start to open up to you. You become the person everyone wants to talk to because you listen. It's almost funny how saying less makes people talk more to you. Number 3, people respect those who speak with purpose. The more you talk, the cheaper your words become. But when you speak less, people start to value your voice. They listen when you finally decide to say something because your silence has already earned their respect. In Stoicism, this restraint is a form of self-mastery. It's knowing when your words will serve a purpose and when they'll only feed your ego. When your words are rare, they carry weight. People notice. They pause. They think, if this person is speaking now, it must mean something. That's how leaders command attention. Not by speaking all the time, but by speaking wisely and intentionally. On the other hand, those who talk endlessly reveal too much. They expose their insecurities, their weaknesses, and their lack of control. The Stoic way is the opposite. Be calm, concise, and composed. Say what needs to be said, and nothing more. And honestly, it's more fun watching people squirm in silence when they expect a reaction you refuse to give. Nothing confuses or intimidates a talkative person more than someone who simply smiles and says nothing. Number 4, speaking less protects your peace. Every time you speak, you spend energy. You open yourself to judgment, criticism, and misunderstanding. The Stoics understood this well. They believe peace comes from controlling what you can, and silence is one of those things. When you speak less, you protect your mind from unnecessary noise. You stop giving people access to your emotions. You'll notice that the more you talk, the more drama finds you. People twist your words, misinterpret your tone, or drag you into gossip. But when you speak less, that chaos disappears. You become untouchable, not because you're invisible, but because you're unpredictable. People can't read or manipulate someone who doesn't reveal much. Silence also gives you time to think. Instead of reacting out of anger or pride, you learn to respond with wisdom. That's how Stoics handled insults. They didn't argue. They simply observed. The less you speak, the less you regret. And let's be real, sometimes staying silent isn't deep philosophy, it's just self-defense. Because arguing with fools drains your peace faster than your phone battery on 1%. Number 5, silence builds an aura of mystery and power. There's something magnetic about people who don't say much. You can't quite figure them out, and that's exactly the point. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates respect. People project their own interpretations onto quiet individuals. They assume depth, intelligence, or confidence, even if the truth is you're just thinking about what to eat later. The Stoics mastered this aura by keeping their emotions and thoughts private. They believe that true power doesn't need to be announced. It's felt. The person who can sit calmly in a room full of noise, untouched and undisturbed, holds a kind of authority that words could never create. Your silence makes people come to you. It makes them wonder, guess, and respect you without you asking for it. The world chases attention, but the Stoic earns respect through stillness. Number 6, speaking less sharpens your mind. When you stop talking so much, your thoughts become clearer. Most people speak before their mind has even caught up. They think out loud, spilling half-formed ideas that reveal confusion instead of clarity. The Stoic learns to think deeply first, then speak rarely. Because silence gives your thoughts time to mature. It transforms shallow reactions into meaningful responses. The truth is, silence trains your brain. It forces you to organize your thoughts before you let them out. You become more observant, more precise, and more intentional. That's why people who speak less often sound wiser, because they've already thought it through before opening their mouth. When you're quiet, your mind gets sharper. You start noticing details others overlook, the emotion behind someone's eyes, the hidden message in their tone, the energy in the room. The world slows down for you, while everyone else rushes to be heard. And honestly, it's funny how many arguments you can win simply by saying nothing and letting the other person talk themselves into defeat. Silence really is the ultimate checkmate. Number 7, people who speak less control the narrative. When you talk too much, you give away your strategy. You tell people what you're planning, what you fear, and what you want. But when you speak less, people are left guessing, and that confusion gives you control. The Stoics understood that the less others know about your inner world, the harder it is for them to manipulate you. Words reveal your emotions, your opinions, and your weaknesses. Silence hides them. And in a world where everyone wants to read you, mystery becomes your armor. The less you say, the more power you have over how people perceive you. They can't attack what they can't define. Think of it this way. When you talk, you're giving the world data. When you stay quiet, you're gathering it. The listener always knows more than the speaker. That's why silent people often rise faster. They understand others, while others barely understand them. Plus, nothing drives talkative people crazier than your silence. You can almost see them squirm, wondering what you're thinking. That, right there, is free entertainment. Number 8, silence gives you time to master emotion. One of the greatest Stoic virtues is emotional control. Most people regret the things they said in anger, not the things they stayed silent about. The ability to hold your tongue when your emotions are loud is the mark of inner strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you stay silent, you give yourself space between emotion and reaction. That tiny pause is everything. It's where wisdom is born. It's where you decide whether your next words will heal or harm. Speaking less gives your emotions time to settle before they cause damage." Think about how many times a single sentence has ruined a friendship or relationship. One careless moment, one impulsive reaction, and the damage lasts for years. Silence, on the other hand, never starts wars. It only ends them. And sometimes, when someone tries to provoke you, the best answer is your calm smile and quiet stare. It says, "You don't have that kind of power over me." That silence is louder than any insult. Number 9, speaking less makes you a better observer of life. The quieter you become, the more the world starts to reveal itself. You begin to notice patterns, how people behave, how they lie, how they show love, how they seek validation. Silence turns you into an observer, and observation turns into wisdom. When you're not rushing to talk, you finally start to see. You see how fear drives people's words. You see how pride hides insecurity. You see how silence makes others uncomfortable because they're not used to peace. The Stoic sees all of this, not to judge, but to understand. And in that understanding, you gain an edge. You can predict reactions, avoid traps, and make decisions that come from insight, not impulse. The world becomes your classroom, and silence becomes your teacher. Funny thing is, people will think you're mysterious or deep, but really, you're just paying attention while they talk themselves into circles. Sometimes wisdom looks like stillness, because stillness is the space where truth becomes visible. Number 10, the less you speak, the more you're remembered. People who speak all the time are easily forgotten. Their words blur together because there's nothing special about constant noise. But people who speak rarely, their words echo. You remember them because they choose their moments carefully. Each word feels deliberate, meaningful, and strong. This is why Stoic philosophers often wrote in short, powerful lines. They knew that truth doesn't need decoration. It just needs presence. When you speak less, your words hit harder. You're not filling space, you're delivering impact. It's ironic. Silence makes your words louder. Because when you finally do speak, people listen. They've learned that your voice carries weight. They know it's not small talk, it's truth talk. And if you ever doubt this, just remember how uncomfortable silence makes people. That's proof of its power. People remember silence because it leaves a mark. It forces them to think, to reflect, to feel. That's something no amount of talking can ever do. So, don't be afraid to be quiet. In a noisy world, silence is rebellion. It's clarity. It's freedom. The less you speak, the more you hear. The more you observe, the more you understand. And the more you understand, the less you need to prove. The Stoic path is not about saying nothing. It's about saying only what matters. So choose your words with care, your silences with purpose, and your presence with power. If this message spoke to you, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more Stoic lessons. And remember, the next time you feel the urge to speak, maybe don't. Let your silence do the talking.